Welcome back to another episode of Who Should You Choose? Good morning, everyone. Monday, another week has started, and we're still playing NHL. I feel like we're in the middle of July. We usually start hearing news about NHL 26 beginning of August. So, we could legitimately be 2 weeks away from NHL 26 talk. So, absolutely huge. But let's get into some of the more pressing comments and questions. And we're going to start with my man, Jordan, who's been a long-time subscriber of mine. Want to say, I hope you're doing well, my man. He says, "Hey, my time to shine. Offline player here. I asked a question in the last episode, guys. Offline players who just play squad battles, why don't you just play franchise? Like, generally, what is it that has you interested in playing HUT, not franchise mode, which you're far more in control of? I try and play franchise mode, but what keeps bringing me back to HUT is the ability to change my team. Even if I do a custom league where I only play 8 games and contracts end, I still have to manage a team to get a certain player I want. I do like the ability in HUT to obtain cards and immediately insert them. I like obtaining players at free will, whereas in franchise will come a point where you just won't be able to because the CPU will say, no, that's not happening. Any given moment, I can obtain an 89 Connor McDavid, an 84 Crosby, and a 94 Gretzky and Cujo. Player options are more vast, as well as opponents. I like seeing a new team all the time and go, ooh, a random full build Shark team within a Ginla. I'm going to steamroll them. Variety maybe is the answer. All right, I think that's probably the general consensus. Had the most likes as well at 11. So that does make sense in franchise mode. Again, I'm super sim-based where when I play franchise mode, I hate when bad trades happen that are video game trades. I'm very try and keep it realistic, all of that. And that's probably why I have that thought as to why don't you just play franchise mode? But not everyone's like that. So that makes a lot of sense. Lift says, what I love about these videos is all of the HUT fans / addicts get to have their inner Charlie conspiracy meme, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, come out. 100%. 100%. Question for next episode. I want to know, what is the biggest conspiracy you have about NHL? I'm going to assume it's Ice Tilt, but if it's not, well, you can say Ice Tilt, but if there's something else, let me know. I want to know what's your biggest conspiracy, and hey, maybe I can go and crack the code on some of these. Sleeves, thanks for the content. Over a decade of offline playing, and I love HUT. I play franchise in the beginning of the year, and then August until the new game. The reason for HUT is the thrill of chasing cards and completing challenges give me the satisfaction of meeting goals. Keep up the grind and appreciate the perspective. That's another thing I didn't consider. I'm starting to play a little bit MLB, guys, again, and I'm having to catch up. And there is this completionist, I'm getting in franchise mode. Obviously, it's winning the cup, but you're really just competing against yourself, right? There's no one else there. When it comes to HUT, I guess if you complete a master set player, you get one of the 97s this week. That'll feel good. It's a grind, but you get it, and then you have this really super high powered card on your team. Even if you're playing offline, I could consider that. Trobot says, future considerations means nothing. Brian Burke has answered that. It basically means next time they are at the same golf club, one GM pays for the other GM's drinks. This is in response to, I wish that Mike Greer has done an unbelievable job. As a Sharks fan, I was super skeptical when he took over for Doug Wilson. I didn't want him to do the rebuild. I didn't want an inexperienced GM. I think that he has done a masterclass of this rebuild. That being said, the one thing that keeps happening with the Barclay Goodrow, Nick Leddy, even Ryan Reeves to an extent, where he's clearly taking players to help the Sharks. It might seem funny, but it is. The Nick Leddy one specifically. The Sharks actually have 6 NHL defensemen this season, whereas last year they had 2, and the rest were all AHL level defensemen. They're all third pairing defensemen. Don't get it twisted. But that being said, the Sharks actually have 6 NHL defensemen this season. That's why Henry Thrun was moved. He's just going to be an AHLer. But the thing I said is, I wish that Mike Greer would get future considerations or something like that. Even if it's the other GM paying for his drinks when they meet up at a golf club, I don't care. Sure, give me that. I'm fine. Let me know that Mike is at least getting some help. Relevant cards at relevant times. There just isn't enough cards being added. Even though EA added a Brock Besser card 10 days after he signed, it doesn't change the issue of content. However, thank you, EA, for adding multiple Canucks. I agree. I think that's something that's this week highlights something that I just desperately, if I could take over EA's content, um, one thing that I would do is when there is tentpole events, whether it's the draft, tentpole events are like the big, like, all the tents go up around the city and it's a big thing. So when a classic's one, um, World Juniors is one, All Star Olympics now, all of that, right? What I would love to do if I was in charge of content is on those big temple days, immediate content release. I don't care if it's a Sunday, I don't care if it's a holiday. MLB has their draft in the middle of the season. Draft picks in the MLB, unless you get drafted by the Los Angeles Angels, really don't see play in for like 3 or 4 seasons, right? So that's why it happens in the middle of the year. People that don't follow baseball are like, what? How? Even if you're first overall. Every once in a while, there's exceptions. But that being said, MLB's content team. So this is being recorded on a Monday. Last night was the draft, okay, at the All-Star Weekend, which, God, MLB does the All-Star Week so well. It is just a show. Anyways, so what happened was immediately when the draft happened, we're talking like the second the pick is made, cards released in MLB The Show. Like, now, obviously, there's rights issues and you need to get card art in, but I'm talking like it's not even from Upper Deck. Like, they have a design team that has designed cards and obviously cut out players and then changed the banner of like where they're drafted, and then they're in game immediately. I want that for all big HUD events. So, like, imagine, let me try. I'm trying to think of it. I mean, the draft is really the best one. The problem is they don't have the rights to the USA kids. Maybe get them for the first round at least. Like, you can see who's going to be a potential first round pick. Pay for their rights. I don't know how. I'm trying to think of a way. The issue is more of like how would an event work for the like Winter Classic, let's say. Like what they do now is they release like 4 cards for each team, and whatever team wins, those cards go up in overall. What about for temple events like that? Game day cards. And game day cards are different from fantasy cards because it's like it counts like block shots, shots on goal, assists, all that stuff. Bring those back, immediately put in the game and upgrade it right after the game. I also don't know how difficult it is to upgrade fantasy items, but enough with waiting until Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Like, I don't see why. I know the process to upgrade a card. You can log in on Monday and take the few seconds to upgrade the fantasy cards. So, EA, I would love that. How to fix Hut, in my humble opinion, says Lift. He says, rework abilities to be more... you're treading the thin line here, buddy. Rework abilities to be more balanced, making different builds, like a big tipper meme build, be usable. I think I'm going to stop at each point. One of the it's funny, this guy has really fallen out of favor in terms of the gaming industry, but Pirate Software had I found a TikTok of his before he became like not really someone that I enjoyed following or watching, and his takes are pretty awful. But one of the takes early on was he talked about when there's a meta in a video game, and what gaming companies do is they nerf the good thing and then buff the bad thing, and that's the worst way to go about it, because all that ends up happening is that you try and meet in the middle, but you never do, and something else just takes its place. You find what's good, what the meta is, raise everything else up to there. And I was like, that is a perfect way to describe NHL and things like that in terms of abilities. Like, Elite Edges is amazing. Find a way to make Big Tipper unbelievable as well. Like that. I think I'm with you on that. Get rid of any ability that just isn't usable. Like Ice Pack is like franchise mode stuff. Like, you know what I mean? You don't even get injuries in Hut. Like, so things like that. Get rid of that. Add the ability to add remove abilities on cards. So if you want McDavid with Big Tipper, you can use a consumable... Oh, man. Consumability cards to substitute an ability for the ability you want. I'm sure there's a way to balance this with the AP economy. Love this. I've been saying custom... The second I saw X Factors in NHL 22, I said, man, make them customizable. That's how you really make cards feel different. Issue is it would have to be a tier system. So like tier 1 is wheels, elite edges, truculence, and maybe shutdown. So like you can only have one of those. And then the second one, like, you know what I mean? Because what would happen is everyone would just have the same one. Like, everyone would put elite edges or whatever the best ability is on every single card. And, like, imagine an entire team of truculence, especially early on when endurance is really bad. Every time you get bumped, bang, endurance is gone. Like, that would be rough. But I like the customizable abilities, 100%. Like, bring back X Factors, how they used to work, and allow us every time that a new card comes out, new Connor McDavid comes out, his X Factor, you can go in and he gets a new ability that the X Factor doesn't have. Whether it's gold or silver, you can change them. You can't add to them, so they can't have 2 gold abilities, but you can change it out if a card got it. Add captain and assistant cards that give synergy boosts, synergy bonuses. These are the only cards that can get to 99. Ideally, these would be existing X Factor power-up icons. Fantasy cards are an exception to the 99 rule. I've learned that the player base does not like that. I don't mind no 99s or things like that, or very few of them. People want 99 at a certain point in the game. And I think that there is enough of a player base and that want that. So I'm with you. So limiting the amount of cards to get to 99, what would end up happening is everyone would just ignore everything and just go after these cards. The captain assistant synergy bonuses, those should be in the game, but it should be specific cards like MSPs. Here's how I would do it. So like base cards at the launch of the game, there's 32 captains added to the game. Okay, 32 captains. If a team doesn't have a captain, like the Sharks don't have one. There's teams that don't have one. That's tough. Maybe add a legacy captain. I don't know. Or just pick Macklin. You know, whatever it is. And then what happens is for base cards or any card, those ones specifically, for every 5 Sharks in your lineup, every card goes up by +1. For every 10 Sharks, they go up +3. For every 20, so the entire team goes up +5. And that's for the entire game, all Shark cards, including alumni. Okay? You could, yeah, including alumni. But what I would love is if master set players from every event are event cards. And because event cards, again, we don't like using them. They're just used as an economy. And we have to build a lineup and they shove them in. Imagine this, guys. Imagine this. Instead of just having your team of the week lineup that is just there to complete objectives, instead, you slowly work towards gaining a bunch of team of the week cards, okay? Then you get one of the captains, which they've deemed they only released 6, the 93 overall or whatever, the 96 overall one. You get him. Every one of those captain team of the week cards throughout the rest of the year, they get a bonus where for every 5 team of the week cards, +1. For every 10, +3. For every 20, full team, +5. That would be phenomenal, and it would make team of the week cards so much more viable. And I think it would be 3, 6, 9 to get +5. And I think because you don't want to just have an entire team of the week cards, you want to be able to use cards, but even just like +3, would be sweet. And same thing for events. When you've got to grind out event objectives, you don't want to put those cards in your lineup. You get a master set player item that has a captain bonus. So for every 3 event cards, including that card in your lineup, +1 overall. For every 6, +3 overall. That keeps cards that the 91s from this event, from the Origins event, that you would never use in your lineup. Imagine you had a whole lineup and now they're 96s. Like, you could use them. They're usable. I'm with you on that. A lot of good ideas here. I think they just need to be ironed out a little bit. New event cards could be infused into the base card, increasing its stat and allowing you to switch between multiple event cards, arts, and synergies. Little too out there for me. That's like I don't hate that. It's just very abstract. Because they would have to change so much because you would have to limit the amount of base cards, right? Because base cards are pulled all year. All cards are pulled all year. But they're from the start of the game, right? So there's the most type of cards on the market are base cards. So I don't know about that. I think that if a player gets a I saw a thing in Madden a couple years ago where like if you got like multiple versions of a player, you could switch between their card art. And I've said that before, and I like that. I do like that. It would be cool all base cards. Okay, all base cards. If that player gets a master set player item, you can use a consumable called card art, and it would allow you to choose between the card art that's released. That I think, yeah, I think that would work. Yeah, is the stats and stuff. I'm not big on. I think that would be require an entire like teardown. But event themed consumable cards. Example: Warp Speed event consumable can be added to a non-captain card to raise its speed. Too overpowered. I love this. Too overpowered. Add collections, making most cards useful for even just collection fodder. Rewarding the play with coin bonuses on completion based off of the difficulty of completing the collection and making every pack opening interesting. Just blew my own mind. What if they release 24 event items now? It would be hard, and they would have to add more event items into the pack pool or like a reward pool. But imagine every event they released, let's say 6 master set items. They represent every team. So let's, in a perfect world, 6 master set items, and then in the event there is another 26 event items. You collect all the event items. I'm just talking the event items, not the master set items, and you get a jacked up like special version of one of the master set items or like a specific card all in itself. Every team, like in the OHL, whatever, they should have a collection reward as well. I'm with you on that. Pros, makes reward card useful and important. Theme teams viable. Build crafting. 99 cards come earlier in the game. Events become more important because even if there is an MSP card that is desirable, the event is still worth playing. Cons, a lot of work to do. Requires a lot of balancing to make it fair for everyone. I'm sure the internet has more to add. My excitement has been ignored. My excitement has ignored. I love a lot of these ideas, man. I always try to just iron some of them out. I really, really do enjoy that. A mostly offline player. If franchise mode had TLDR, the Pokemon factor, gotta collect them all. Okay. Alumni players mixed in with current players on all the teams. That makes sense. I got updated versions of my favorite players throughout the year. Makes sense. Opening packs, seeing cards, collecting, buying, and selling. Never mind Pokemon thought. I can't keep McLean, Demko, Luongo, Lankin on my franchise team. Now I understand why people play Hut, not franchise. That makes total sense now. I was not seeing that, but yeah, you at a certain point in franchise mode, you can't just add whoever you want. I mean, I guess you could. Call me stupid. Didn't know passive wasn't the play in overtime. What should I be in? Standard explains why I lose all the time. So I'm gonna mess this up. There's right when you end the third period, guys. If you hit on the D-pad, you have to make sure your face-off is set to aggressive or standard or normal, whatever it's called, because it's set to defensive, meaning that's why your two winger there's no winger up there. You've got 2 defensemen, so like a tie up, you could just lose because if someone sets to aggressive, someone's just there immediately, right? The other thing is, yeah, like your offensive zone pressure, one of the pressures is set to completely passive. And if they do that, that's when you get your defenseman that will sit at the point in overtime. And that you're basically 1-on-2, 1-on-3. You can't really do much. So you need to set it to standard or aggressive. I maybe wouldn't go aggressive, but standard at least. Hey, Sleeves, EA also forgot about the Will Cooley transaction. Maybe he'll get one in 2 weeks like Besser. Yeah, I'm not really sure on what's going on with if you're going to do a 3-day week content, you need to make sure you get everything in those 3 days. The franchise mode sim engine is absolutely wild. It makes 0 sense, so it gets painful. I was mostly online, but now I play when we're offline. It's more relaxing. Okay, again, that makes I've been playing a lot of MLB. I'm going to be grinding to World Series, which is Division 1 in that game. But I actually like playing the offline to just collect all of the programs and stuff. I enjoy doing that. So I'm in total sense there. Face-off strategy settings should be there. It's so annoying. It just got deleted one year. Yeah, I don't know what happened. So in settings, what you have your face-off strategy to, it's just not in there. And in Hut, I don't know why. It's been an issue for forever. That's why in overtime, it won't even in a normal game, it's set. You can't change it to what you want it to, which is brutal. So, One more I will go over. Absolutely agree that they needed to give you more opportunities to get the XP collectibles to upgrade the XP card. I hate that Webware isn't playable. This 2 years now, they've messed around with these year-long cards that are supposed to upgrade and be on your team. You have enough data where releasing the card late in the year, not a good idea. Even if it's 99, you're playing all year to get a card in July. Okay, for most players, releasing the beginning of the year, great idea. Making it where you can't catch up, number one, and so if you start in December or January, you're never getting the card maxed. And number two, all you've got to do is allow us to get to the. What drives me nuts is that EA time gates the upgrades. It's not like you can get Logan Couture to 99 immediately. So if you found a way to just get infinite collectibles, you'd be there. You literally have to wait until the next month, or it's the next event. I think it's tied to whatever the highest overall in the events are. I think that's how it works. So, like, it's already gated. Just allow us to earn a ton of daily collectibles, and we can actually use these cards and use them all year. I think that would just be way more beneficial. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. Thank you guys for again for watching. Check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/nosleeves12. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.